การเดินทางมาเยือนไทยตามคำเชิญของคณะกรรมการอิสระตรวจสอบและค้นหาความจริงเพื่อการปรองดองแห่งชาติหรือคอปของนายโคฟีอันนานอดีตเลขาธิการสหประชาชาติและนายมาติอาซาริอดีตประธานาธิบดีแห่งสาธารณรัฐฟินแลนด์ทำให้กระบวนการปรองดองของไทยเป็นที่จับตาขึ้นมาอีกครั้งนายโคฟีอันนานเป็นอดีตเลขาธิการสหประชาชาติติดต่อกันถึง2 สมัยหลังหมดวาระเขาและสหประชาชาติได้รับรางวัลโนเบลสาขาสันติภาพจากการก่อตั้ง The Global AIDS and Health Fund ปัจจุบันได้ก่อตั้งมูลนิธิโคฟีอันนานที่เน้นพัฒนาการทำงานใน3ประเด็นหลักคือสันติภาพความมั่นคงการพัฒนาที่ยั่งยืนและสิทธิมนุษยชนและหลักนิติธรรมขณะที่นายมาติอาซาริหลังจากทำงานในสหประชาชาติและกระทรวงต่างประเทศฟินแลนด์เขาก็ได้รับเลือกเป็นประธานาธิบดีฟินแลนด์หลังจากนั้นก็ได้รับรางวัลโนเบลสาขาสันติภาพในฐานะผู้ที่มีบทบาทในการไกล่เกลี่ยและแก้ปัญหาความขัดแย้งระดับนานาชาติในหลายประเทศเช่นนามิเบียอินโดนีเซียโคโซโวและอิรักปัจจุบันเขาได้ก่อตั้ง CMI หรือ Crisis Management Initiative ซึ่งเป็นองค์กรที่สนับสนุนการแก้ปัญหาความขัดแย้งระหว่างประเทศตลอด3 วันตั้งแต่ 16-19 กุมภาพันธ์ที่ผ่านมานักสันติวิธีระดับนานาชาติทั้ง2 คนได้ร่วมแลกเปลี่ยนประสบการณ์และรับฟังปัญหาความขัดแย้งของประเทศไทยจากบุคคลหลายกลุ่มเขาสรุปว่าปัญหาความขัดแย้งในสังคมไทยไม่ซับซ้อนและจำเป็นต้องอาศัยกระบวนการในระยะยาวให้ทุกภาคส่วนในสังคมร่วมแก้ปัญหาขณะที่คอป.ยืนยันว่าการเดินทางมาครั้งนี้ของนายโคฟีอันนานและนายมาติอาซาริไม่เกี่ยวข้องกับแนวทางการปรองดองของพันตำรวจโททักษิณชินวัตรที่ต้องการไกล่เกลี่ยความขัดแย้งในไทย
After 2 days of intense discussion with involved party in reconciliation, what Thailand should do or must do to begin the real process of reconciliation, Mr. Anand?
That is the issue that the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission is dealing with, and I know the Parliament is also very much involved. These situations require homegrown solutions, and I'm extremely happy that the Commission has been given this responsibility of establishing the facts and the truth, and also reaching out to society to help reconcile. I understand they've had several public meetings and hearings, and they are going to continue these efforts. Reconciliation is a long process, and it also requires engagement of all sectors of society. And I would hope that everyone will cooperate with the Commission. They can't do it alone. Not even the government can do it alone.
But should the government be the leader in reconciliation?
I think they have set up this commission, but the government has a role. Often when you find facts and truth and others, it may be that for some of the long-term solutions to avoid repetition of some of the events that had taken place in the past, the government may have to bring up a new legislation or take measures to curb the tendencies that lead to the unfortunate tragic events.
I'm sure the government cannot do it all alone. How can they get involved party to participate in reconciliation, Mr. Atisari?
Like they have done now, because during the 2 days we have had very long days. We have seen quite a number of representatives from the civil society, women, victims of the conflicts. We have seen business people. We have seen a broad sector of society, and people have behaved in a very responsible manner. Everyone wants to contribute, and I think
very civil manner in meeting up, very positive atmosphere.
No, it's positive atmosphere, and I must say that people have behaved in a very wise manner, because when you realize that somebody has lost their loved ones, it requires enormous patience to behave the way the people we met, your society is basically a tolerant society. I have visited your country many times, so I know that. And I think that bodes well. The religious leaders are prepared to contribute to the reconciliation process, not complicated, like in some countries has happened. So there are these positive elements which I hope will contribute to the process.
From your experiences, you think Thailand is not that complicated. So what should be the start in real reconciliation?
The fact-finding and truth-seeking is important beginning. I think one should not underestimate either. Reconciliation is a complicated exercise in any society. And there are many societies in the world where the process hasn't even started. It should have. So it is very important that this process continues. And I think it is important that the former political leaders and present ones are clearly supporting this reconciliation effort, which is important.
Mr. Anand, this is in the process of TRCT to search truth and establish fact and tell Thai society what went on. What should be the role of TRCT after this? What should be their mandate?
You mean after they've established the facts and had hearings?
Yes, after they have formal report coming out, opening up to Thai society.
I think that will depend very much on the interpretation of their mandate and also the expectation of the government that gave them that mandate. They may continue to help organize dialogue, hearings, and get people talking to each other. They may make some recommendations to the government for a follow-through, or the government may decide that with the submission of their report, they would want other mechanisms to carry forward the reconciliation. But regardless of what decision is taken, reconciliation is necessary. And it's a process, as President Ahtisaari has said, is a long-term process. It's not an event, and people should be patient.
It's too early for Thailand to say that we will achieve reconciliation at the moment. No time frame should be set.
It is very difficult to, you can set a time frame for the work of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, but the process of reconciliation, people being civil to each other, people behaving correctly with each other, and resolving their conflicts through dialogue and not violence is an ongoing process. It requires respect for the other. It requires acceptance that there has to be a rule of law and differences should be resolved through legal means.
Yes.
And law and the social norms should be respected. And obviously this is an ongoing process. And it's not just here in Thailand, in every society, in my society, no one is born a Democrat. No one is born a good citizen. It's education and it's an ongoing process.
It means we need discipline of ongoing process of reconciliation and no time frame should be set. But can you just tell us in how many years we should at least aim to have a certain level of reconciliation?
I think it is not easy to set a time frame. If the people want it and the leaders show the way and work with them, it can move very fast. But where it's not applied in a sustained manner and efforts are not made in a sustained manner, it will take a longer time. So it depends on the framework, the objectives, and the attitude of the leaders and the people, how fast you can make progress. So it's not easy to set an arbitrary time frame. You can set an arbitrary time frame for the work of the Commission, but the actual reconciliation process should be seen as an ongoing process.
From your hearing in the past 2-3 days, you told me that the atmosphere seems very positive, very tolerant. But what if behind the scene, after the meeting, people like to protest on the street again or want to use violence, use hatred, talking about anger among themselves. So what should be done to help resolve those emotions?
Move fast with the reconciliation process, because that's why, as Secretary General Annan said, it's impossible to put a time frame, because it's counterproductive even to the work what is needed. Because during the work you realize that there are certain aspects that have not been looked in the past, so those have to be discussed as well. So the work develops while you go forward. But in all honesty, when I compare Thailand to many other societies where I have seen conflicts and reconciliation efforts, I think I would be disappointed if we can't move forward with this process.
Because you have played important role in Aceh peace movement and you reached the deal in 2005. What's the difference if you think of Southeast Asian countries? What's the difference between Thailand and Aceh?
Every conflict is a special case. It's a sui generis. We can't say that any conflict is similar to the others. There may be some similar features. We have to take into consideration what is the history of the country, why there has been conflicts, and how then to see that, how can we move forward and find that we could prevent new conflicts to appear. And that means that it's a continuous process. And perhaps the first achievement is that we can prevent the reappearance of any conflicts in the society. And on the side, we can advance the dialogue, which is very, very important, and have to involve not only the official elements of the government appointed commissions, but different groups in the society.
To be engaged with different groups of society, I'm sure you must be informed of one of the most divisive political figure of Thailand, ex-Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra. What role should he play in national reconciliation?
I don't think it is up to me or President Ahtisaari to define a role for the former Prime Minister. But what I will say is every Thai, and particularly Thai political leaders, should put the interests of the nation first. They should try to find a way of pacifying the environment. They should try to find a way of bridging the divide which exists in some sectors of society and help stabilize the environment and work with the population to produce a stable democratic society based on rule of law and respect for human rights.
Which means to think of collective action or collective outcome of the whole country.
You have citizens take action through various means. I mean, when you have elections, the citizens all vote. When you have referendum, they all vote. I'm not saying these issues should be taken to a vote, but if you have dialogue and people are talking and being civil to each other and are trying to push the interest of Thailand, it is not only in the parliament the discussions should take place. It should take place in the churches, in the temples, in the communities, in schools. And we all should have a sense of this vision of Thailand that we want, and everybody works towards it. And the leaders have an important role to play in all this. They have to provide the leadership. They have to provide the leadership not only in telling the people what is required, but through their own behavior and actions and how they relate to each other.
On top of political figures in Thai society, have you been informed of other various factors in Thailand that could be people are pushing for changing of constitution or the least matters law? Have you been informed of all these factors that may involve in national reconciliation?
No, yes, we are aware of all that, and unfortunately, some aspects of it have been politicized, and I hope the leaders can conclude that there are certain issues which should not be politicized. I hope they can agree. The king has been here for generations and is going to be around, and most Thais I know respect the king and the role he has played in this society. I don't think for most of them it's a huge controversial issue. There are other concerns of economic development, concerns about inequity, concerns about helping farmers and people in rural community. These, I suspect, are the issues on the minds of most people. And I would wish the leaders and the politicians will focus on these issues, which will make a difference in the real life of the men and women of this country and their children. Issues of education, issues of economic development, and issues of administration of justice. If I were a Thai, those are the issues which would be foremost on my mind.
How was the atmosphere of the intense discussion of various factors coming up from your point of view?
First of all, it was interesting. It was very matter of fact. And I must say that we were both impressed by the people we met, and we said so. And it bodes well for the efforts that are starting. I think the population, and at the same time when they have to participate in this process, I think they should have a right to expect that the political leaders are all contributing to the positive outcome of the reconciliation process, so that we can start, as we said in our statement, that we can start building a prosperous, egalitarian society where every Thai has a chance to develop their skills and live in a democratic society where human rights are respected.
You told us in the press conference that you are not here as mediator, but you are here, and we know that you are international mediator, as you are well known for. So what are your role to be here?
I think we came to see what is happening, to listen, to learn, and the Truth and Commission invited us to come and share our experiences and to see how we can assist them in their work. And that is why we are here. We also felt that to be able to understand the issues and give them the right advice and support, it was helpful that we reached out and talked to a large group of stakeholders to have a better insight into the issues and then advise them and share our own experiences.
Given that you just told me that this process takes time and it's ongoing, is it too soon for you to come to Thailand?
No, it depends on those who are responsible for the process and at what stage they believe they need advice. I don't think it's too soon in any mediation process to reach out, to look at experiences elsewhere that would inform your work. And so I think in the judgment of the Commission, this was the time to reach out and get comparative experience to share what has happened elsewhere that could help their work.